Sharon, exclusively, reveals. She saw Ozzy Osbourne's soul last night. What she said leaves everyone speechless. 3 weeks after losing the love of her life, Sharon Osbourne had grown accustomed to the quiet emptiness that filled their Buckinghamshire home each evening. The silence where Ozzy's laughter once echoed. The stillness where his presence once brought warmth and chaos in equal measure. But on the night of August 10th, 2025, something extraordinary happened that would change everything. Sharon thought she knew about death, love, and the connection between souls that transcend physical existence. In an exclusive interview that has left the world stunned, Sharon Osbourne revealed an experience so profound, so undeniably real to her, that she initially questioned her own sanity before accepting the beautiful truth of what had occurred. What she witnessed that night has not only transformed her understanding of grief and loss, but has provided comfort and hope to millions of people around the world who are dealing with their own devastating losses. "I know how this sounds," Sharon began, her voice steady, but filled with an emotion that was clearly difficult to contain as she sat in the same chair where the extraordinary encounter had taken place just hours earlier. "I know people will think I'm losing my mind, that grief has made me see things that aren't there, that the stress of losing Ozzy after 43 years together has finally broken me. But I'm telling you, with every fiber of my being, that what happened last night was real. Ozzy came to me, not as a memory or a dream, but as his true self, his soul, his essence, and what he told me will stay with me for the rest of my life." The experience occurred around 2:30 a.m. during what Sharon described as one of her most difficult nights since Ozzy's death from acute myocardial infarction in July 2025. She had been struggling with a particularly intense wave of grief, triggered by finding some of his old recording equipment while cleaning out his studio earlier that day, and had been unable to sleep despite taking her prescribed medication and trying every relaxation technique her therapist had taught her. If Sharon's incredible revelation is moving you as much as it's moving us, please show your support with a like. Some experiences transcend our understanding and deserve to be shared. "I was sitting in his favorite chair in our bedroom, holding one of his old guitars, the acoustic one he used to play when he couldn't sleep, and just crying," Sharon recalled, her eyes growing distant as she remembered that sacred moment. "I was talking to him out loud, asking him why he had to leave me, telling him how much I missed him, how lost I felt without his guidance and love, how empty the world seemed without his voice in it. I wasn't expecting an answer. I was just talking to the emptiness, trying to feel connected to him somehow, trying to bridge the impossible distance between life and death." What happened next, according to Sharon, defied every logical explanation, but felt more real and tangible than anything she had experienced since Ozzy's death. The room, which had been dimly lit by a single bedside lamp, suddenly became filled with what she described as a warm, golden light that seemed to emanate from everywhere and nowhere at once, transforming the familiar space into something sacred and otherworldly. "The light wasn't harsh or blinding like you might expect from a supernatural encounter," Sharon explained, her voice filled with wonder as she recalled every detail. "It was gentle and warm, like being wrapped in the most loving embrace you could imagine, like being held by pure love itself. And then, in the center of that light, I saw him, not his physical body, not the man ravaged by Parkinson's disease who could barely hold a cup of coffee in his final weeks, but Ozzy as I had never seen him before, pure, radiant, completely at peace." Sharon described seeing what she could only call Ozzy's soul, a luminous, human-shaped form that was unmistakably him, but transformed by an indescribable beauty and serenity that took her breath away. He appeared to be in his 30s, the age when they had first fallen deeply in love and gotten married, but somehow ageless at the same time, radiating a sense of perfect health and boundless energy that she had rarely seen even in his younger years. "He was smiling at me with that crooked grin I fell in love with 50 years ago," Sharon continued, tears beginning to flow freely down her cheeks as she remembered the joy of seeing that beloved expression again. But his eyes held all the wisdom and love of our entire life together, plus something more, something that spoke of understanding and peace that I had never seen in him during his physical life, even during his happiest moments. According to Sharon, Ozzy's soul spoke to her, not with words that she heard audibly, but through a form of communication that bypassed her ears and spoke directly to her heart and mind. The messages he conveyed were so clear and powerful that she could recall every detail with perfect clarity, as if they had been written permanently in her memory. The first thing he told me was that he was okay, better than okay, that he was more himself than he had ever been while trapped in a physical body, Sharon revealed, her voice growing stronger as she shared this crucial message. He said that dying had been like waking up from a long, difficult dream. All the pain, all the struggle with addiction that had plagued him for decades, all the physical limitations from the Parkinson's disease that had stolen so much from him, none of that exists where he is now. He's free, completely free, and filled with more love and joy than he ever experienced in physical form. But Ozzy's soul had come to Sharon with a specific message, something urgent and important that he needed her to understand about the nature of their relationship and the continuation of their love beyond physical death. He told her that their love hadn't ended with his death. It had actually become stronger, purer, and more eternal than it had ever been while constrained by physical limitations and human fears. He said that what we call death is really just a transformation, like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon, Sharon explained, struggling to find words adequate to convey the profundity of what she had experienced. That the love we shared, the bond between our souls, that deep connection we felt from the moment we met, that is permanent and unbreakable. He's not gone. He's just experiencing existence in a different way. And our love continues to grow and evolve, even though I can't see him with my physical eyes. Sharon's revelation took an even more extraordinary turn when she described how Ozzy's soul showed her visions of their life together, but from a perspective she had never considered before. She saw moments from their relationship, not just as they had experienced them in the physical world, but as their souls had experienced them. Every act of love, every moment of support, every time they had chosen each other despite difficulties, revealed as golden threads of connection that had been weaving an eternal bond. He showed me our wedding day, but I could see the golden threads of love connecting our souls, Sharon said, her voice filled with awe at the memory. I could see how every challenge we faced together, every crisis we overcame as a team, every moment when we supported each other through addiction, illness, scandal, and success, all of that had actually strengthened those connections. Even his addiction, his struggles with mental health, the times when I thought we might not make it as a couple, all of that had been opportunities for our souls to love each other more deeply and unconditionally. Ozzy, the vision that affected Sharon most profoundly was seeing their children not as they appeared physically, but as the eternal souls they truly were beneath their human forms. Ozzy showed her how their love had created not just physical beings, but eternal souls who would continue to grow and evolve long after their own physical lives ended. I could see Jack, Kelly, Amy, and Lewis as these beautiful, radiant beings of pure light and love, Sharon revealed, her voice filled with maternal pride and spiritual wonder. Ozzy showed me how our love had given them not just life, but specific gifts and strengths that they would carry into eternity. He was so proud of who they had become and who they were still becoming, and he wanted me to know that our love lives on through them in ways we can't even imagine. But perhaps the most shocking revelation came when Ozzy's soul addressed Sharon's guilt about moving forward with her life and pursuing her own happiness. She had been struggling with intense feelings that enjoying herself or finding fulfillment without him was somehow a betrayal of their love and his memory. That happiness in his absence was a form of disloyalty. He told me something that completely changed my perspective on grief and healing, Sharon said, her voice growing stronger as she shared this crucial message. He said that every moment I spent in paralyzing grief, every day I wasted feeling guilty about being alive, every time I refused happiness out of some misguided sense of loyalty, that was actually preventing our souls from connecting. He said that my joy, my growth, my happiness, my continued evolution as a person, that's what allows him to be close to me, what strengthens our eternal bond. According to Sharon, Ozzy's soul explained that love in its purest form is not possessive or limiting, but liberating and empowering. He told her that the greatest gift she could give him, the most meaningful way to honor their relationship, was to live fully, to pursue her dreams with passion, to love herself and others with the same intensity and fearlessness they had brought to their love for each other. He said that when I'm happy, when I'm growing and learning and helping others, when I'm being true to myself and pursuing my own dreams, that's when he can be closest to me, Sharon revealed, describing a concept that challenged everything she thought she knew about honoring the dead. That my fulfillment and joy actually create a bridge between our worlds, allowing our souls to continue their love story in a way that transcends physical existence and death itself. The experience lasted approximately 30 minutes, during which Ozzy's soul shared specific guidance about Sharon's future and her continued healing journey. He encouraged her writing project, praised her instincts about working with abuse victims, and offered detailed advice about her tentative steps toward building new friendships and interests outside of their shared world. He told me about specific things I hadn't shared with anyone, private thoughts, secret fears, dreams I'd been to. Embarrassed to voice, Sharon said, describing details that convinced her this was no hallucination or wishful thinking. He knew about the book I was writing, about the woman I had helped at the shelter last week, about the photography class I was considering taking, but felt guilty about enjoying. He was aware of everything I was doing, every step I was taking toward rebuilding my life, and he was so proud of my progress. Ozzy's soul also addressed Sharon's fears about their love being forgotten or diminished by time, about new relationships or experiences somehow erasing what they had shared. He assured her that their connection existed outside of time and space, growing stronger rather than weaker as she continued to evolve and grow as a person. He said that our love story wasn't ending, it was entering a new chapter, Sharon explained, describing a revelation that transformed her understanding of widowhood. That every person I help, every moment of joy I experience, every act of kindness I perform, every new friend I make, every dream I pursue, all of that is actually an expression of our love continuing to create positive change in the world. I'm not moving on from him, I'm moving forward with him. The encounter took another profound turn when Ozzy's soul addressed the guilt Sharon had been carrying about his final months, and whether she had done enough to ease his suffering. She had been tormented by questions about whether different medical decisions might have extended his life, whether her care had been adequate, whether she had told him she loved him enough times. He showed me how he had experienced his final months, and it was completely different from my perspective, Sharon revealed, describing a vision that brought her immense peace. While I saw pain and limitation and loss, he experienced that time as a period of preparation and completion. He was using those months to tie up spiritual loose ends, to send love to everyone who had been important in his life, to prepare for his transition. He wasn't suffering. He was completing his earthly mission. Ozzy's soul also revealed that he had been aware of Sharon's presence and love every moment of his final weeks, even when the Parkinson's disease made it difficult for him to communicate or respond. He told her that her constant care and devotion had been like a light guiding him through the transition from physical to spiritual existence. He said that my love had been his anchor during the dying process, keeping him connected to the best parts of his human experience while helping him let go of the pain and limitation. Sharon shared, tears flowing freely. He wanted me to know that I had been the perfect partner, not just in life, but in death as well. But perhaps one of the most touching revelations from Ozzy's soul was his surprise and overwhelming joy about the global outpouring of love from fans following his death. According to Sharon, he had been completely unaware of the true depth of devotion his fans felt for him throughout his career. He told me something that absolutely broke my heart in the most beautiful way, Sharon said, her voice filled with emotion. He said that during his physical life, he never truly understood how much his fans loved him. He thought people just liked his music, but he didn't realize they loved him as a person, that his honesty about his struggles had touched their souls so deeply. Sharon revealed that Ozzy's soul had shown her the millions of tributes, messages, and acts of love that fans around the world had shared since his death, something that had left him stunned and profoundly moved. He could see everything, every letter written to newspapers, every social media post, every flower left at memorials, every fan who played his music to cope with their own grief, Sharon explained. He was amazed that people in countries he'd never even visited knew his songs by heart and considered him part of their families. He kept saying, "Sharon, I had no idea. I had no idea they loved me this much. According to Sharon, this revelation had brought Ozzy's soul immense happiness and a sense of completion he had never experienced during his physical life. The man who had struggled with self-worth throughout his career was finally able to see himself through his fans' eyes. His final words to me were, "Tell them that love never dies, it just learns to love more perfectly," Sharon revealed, her voice ringing with conviction. He said that everyone who has lost someone they love should know that those souls are not gone. They're just loving from a different place, in a more powerful way, with a clarity and intensity that physical existence couldn't contain. And he specifically asked me to tell his fans how much their love means to him, how grateful he is that his music became part of their lives, and how happy it makes him to know he'll live on in their hearts forever. As the golden light gradually faded and Ozzy's soul prepared to return to wherever he now existed, Sharon experienced what she described as the most profound sense of peace and completeness she had felt since his death. The crushing weight of grief that had been suffocating her for 3 weeks was replaced by something entirely different. "I felt like I'd been recharged with love," she said, searching for words to describe the transformation. "All the emptiness, all the despair, all the feeling that part of me had died with him, that was replaced with this incredible sense of connection and purpose. I realized that I'm not living without him. I'm living with him in a new way, carrying our love forward into whatever comes next." The impact of this experience on Sharon has been immediate and transformative. In the hours following her encounter with Ozzy's soul, she has approached her grief and her life with a completely different perspective, one filled with hope rather than despair, connection rather than separation, purpose rather than emptiness. "I still miss his physical presence terribly," Sharon admitted with complete honesty. "I still wish I could hold his hand or hear his laugh or share a meal with him or ask his advice about difficult decisions. But I no longer feel like he's gone. I feel like he's everywhere, in the wind that moves through our garden, in the music that still fills our home, in moments of unexpected beauty, in acts of love and kindness. Our relationship has evolved, but it hasn't ended." Sharon's revelation has already begun to impact others who have heard her story, even in the few hours since she decided to share her experience publicly. Mental health professionals who work with grieving individuals have noted that her experience, regardless of how one interprets it scientifically or spiritually, represents a healthy shift from despair to hope, from isolation to connection, from paralysis to purpose. Whether you believe Sharon literally saw Ozzy's soul, or interpret this as a profound healing experience generated by her own psyche's need for comfort and closure, the result is the same, explained Dr. Rebecca Martinez, a grief counselor who has worked with celebrity clients facing public loss. She has moved from a place of devastating, paralyzing loss to a place of continued connection and renewed purpose. That's what healthy grief resolution looks like, regardless of the mechanism that produces it. Sharon has also received hundreds of messages in just the first few hours after sharing her story, from people around the world who have had similar experiences with deceased loved ones, many of whom had never shared their stories for fear of ridicule, disbelief, or being labeled as mentally unstable. "The response has been overwhelming and incredibly validating," Sharon said, describing messages that have poured in from across the globe. "People are telling me about their own encounters with souls of loved ones who have died. I think my willingness to share this experience publicly, despite the risk of skepticism, has given others permission to acknowledge their own spiritual connections with people they've lost." The experience has also fundamentally influenced Sharon's approach to honoring Ozzy's legacy and continuing the work they had built together over 4 decades. Rather than focusing solely on preserving his musical contributions or maintaining his business interests, she now sees her role as continuing to spread the love and positive energy that their relationship created in the world. "I understand now that the best way to honor Ozzy isn't just to preserve his music or maintain his reputation or manage his estate," Sharon explained, describing a shift in priorities that surprised even her. "It's to live in a way that demonstrates the transformative power of love, to help others find hope in their darkest moments, to show people through my own example that death doesn't end love. It perfects it, purifies it, makes it more powerful than it ever was in physical form." Sharon's account of seeing Ozzy's soul has already sparked conversations about the nature of consciousness, the possibility of life after death, and the eternal nature of love between souls who have found their perfect match. While skeptics may question the literal truth of her experience, few can argue with the positive transformation it has created in her life and the immediate hope it has given to others facing similar losses. "I don't need anyone to believe what I experienced," Sharon concluded with quiet confidence. "I know what I saw, I know what I felt, and I know that Ozzy's soul is at peace and our love continues to grow and evolve." If sharing this story helps even one person find comfort in their grief or hope in their despair, if it gives someone permission to believe in the continuation of love beyond death, then Ozzy's message has accomplished exactly what he intended. The encounter has also given Sharon specific guidance about practical decisions she needs to make regarding Ozzy's unreleased music, potential tribute projects, and her own career moving forward. Rather than feeling paralyzed by the weight of these choices, she now feels supported and guided by an ongoing connection to his wisdom and love. "He gave me very specific advice about several decisions I've been struggling with," Sharon revealed. "Not just emotional support, but practical guidance about business matters, family issues, and creative projects. I feel like I have access to his counsel whenever I need it, which removes so much of the fear and uncertainty about making major choices without him." 3 weeks after the darkest period of her life, Sharon Osbourne has found a way to transform devastating loss into renewed purpose and connection. Whether one believes her experience was a literal encounter with Ozzy's soul, or a powerful manifestation of healing and hope generated by the human psyche's remarkable capacity for resilience, the result is undeniably beautiful. A love story that refuses to be ended by death, and a woman who has found the strength to continue growing and giving in honor of the man who taught her what love really means. B. Sharon's incredible experience reminds us that love transcends all boundaries, including death itself. Whether interpreted literally or symbolically, her encounter with Ozzy's soul offers hope to anyone who has lost someone precious that the bonds of true love are indeed eternal. If this story has touched your heart, please share it and remember that those we love never truly leave us. They just find new ways to love us.